everybody, so it is me 2 days later. I actually got my delivery for the Ordinary's concealer in the shade 3.1Y and 4.1N. So let's see what these shades actually look like. Okay, so in the packaging it still looks quite pale, but let's hope what's inside actually is a bit darker. Okay, so this is what 3.1Y looks like. So on the back of my hand it looks okay-ish. For me it's still a little bit, I don't know, it looks a bit cool. On camera it is actually showing the yellow undertone, but I don't know, it's an improvement on my what's the shade? It's an improvement on the shade 3.0 anyway. So I think this would make a good enough highlight shade, but it definitely isn't a skin tone shade. And for reference, I will swatch the foundation shade in 3.1Y just so you can see. Okay, so the shade 3.1Y in the foundation is here, and this is the shade 3.1Y in the concealer. The concealer has a slightly different undertone as far as I'm concerned. 3.1Y in the foundation shade actually looks a little bit more golden than yellow. So there's that. I did also order the shade 4.1 neutral. So 4.1 neutral looks like this. I feel like in the time that I've swatched 3.1Y in the concealer shade, it might have gotten darker, or is it me? I feel like it's gotten darker for some reason. Let me try it again. This is the initial application. That's what it looks like a couple of seconds later. That's the foundation shade in 3.1Y, and that's the concealer in 4.1N. So it definitely darkens. See, it looks like a completely different shade. That's the same concealer. These two are the same concealers. So yeah, just so you know, it does oxidize. But that's actually not a bad thing. I wonder if I missed that and if actually that happened with yesterday's shade. So I will try the shade 3.0. So this is the shade 3.0, and you can see there's a clear, at least there's a jump of at least 2 shades between 3.1Y and 3.0Y, and this is getting darker as we speak. Eventually, hopefully these two should look exactly the same because they are exactly the same shades. But I mean, this is so pale, it's laughable. But I'm guessing because this happened, hopefully this should get darker as well. So let's see. Okay, so I've given it about 3 or 4 minutes. So that's the fresh application of 3.0. That is the slightly oxidized 3.0 that I applied just before. So yeah, I definitely think these concealers, at least some of the shades, oxidize. It's hard to tell with the darker shade because I mean that was already really dark to begin with, but definitely like these two are almost identical now. So yeah, just so you know, they do dry down a bit darker. Okay, so I'm going to apply 3.1Y in my under eyes. So I'm just going to blend it out with my beauty blender. That is actually a very nice blend. It is settling into the creases in my eyes. But otherwise it blends really nicely. So this is the shade I would normally use as a highlight shade. And maybe if I'm feeling spontaneous, I might add an extra dab of 3.0 just in that little corner section there. So I'm also going to take the shade 4.1N and just dot that across my hairline and cheekbones. I mean, why not? That blends out really nicely actually. But to be honest, the only reason I got the 4.1 shade was so I could mix it in just in case the 3.1 didn't work out. And I'm going hard on the concealer now anyway, because I've just realized I'm going to put some foundation on, so I don't intend to leave it like this. So I've just put the foundation on top of the contour. I did go back in with a little bit of contour on my forehead and in my cheekbones, but again, all very lightly. So this is what my finished face looks like. Well, I say finished face with just the foundation on top. Yeah, the concealer was collecting in the under eye area, in the creases. So this concealer, I don't think, if you've got like creases in your eyes, I don't think this will be one to leave without setting it. You definitely want to set it, even if it's lightly, just to stop it going in, because in the time that it took to apply my foundation, I saw some settling in my creases, which I've just smoothed over. So yeah, it's funny, I've just applied my foundation. You probably can't even see it. I've just applied my foundation and only now do I notice I've got a bit of dryness. I am still using my tretinoin, so I am using tretinoin and it does give like dry patches. So yeah, it's only now showing. I didn't notice this all day, but yeah, there's a little bit of a dry patch here. But anywho, I'm just gonna set it, and I'm using the I Heart Revolution banana chocolate powder. It comes in a big container like this. I'm just setting my whole face with the Vichy Derma Blend. So for the sake of ease, I'm just going to stick to the same products I used yesterday. So that's the Tammy X Revolution Paradise Glow Base Palette. Just going to use some of the bronzer. I'm using my Sleek Copper Plate Highlight Palette again, sticking to these two shades. So for mascara, I'm using the Essence Lash Princess. So I'll set my face with the same setting spray, and that's the Pro Base MUA Makeup Academy Pro Base Mattifying Fixing Spray. And then I'll finish up the lips with the Essence Shine 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 Wet Look Lip Gloss in the shade No Brainer and Oh My Plump. So Oh My Plump and No Brainer. So that is my finished face for today. I'm not going anywhere. I don't even know why I put on my full face. I just wanted to show you the shade 3.1Y and 4.1N. But oh, one last thing I wanted to do, just in case you did do what I did and you bought 3.0 thinking it was darker than it actually is. I thought it might be worth trying to mix the 4.1 into 3.0. So I have the two shades here. Let me just see what happens when you mix them. So this shade here is a lot more usable. It's a little on the neutral side. Of course, it is a mixture of a neutral and a yellow undertoned concealer, but it is definitely worth doing. I think this might actually even be close to my skin tone shade, I believe. Do you see that? So mixing 3.0 and 4.1 actually gives me, I suppose, a good match. And can you see it getting darker, or is it me? This is getting darker, yeah. These concealers oxidize, you heard it here first. But yeah, I think just tread lightly, you'll be able to get a good skin tone match, definitely. So if you've already bought the 3.0 and you wanted to return it, or you just thought you'd wasted money, maybe just get the 4.1 and you can use that both as a contour and as a mixer shade. You don't need a lot. I probably put a bit too much. Yeah, these concealers definitely oxidize. You can see where it's drying. The minute I disturb it and rub again, it becomes a slightly lighter shade again. Can you see? There's the darker shade that dried, and then I mix it and it goes away. But anywho, if you got any value from this, please do like this video. It helps out a lot. And subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next upload. And yeah, so those are my thoughts. I like the concealer. My thoughts remain the same. This is more to just show what the next shade up looks like. And yeah, just to show you what the options are in terms of mixing concealers. At least try and save the shade 3.0. If you're around my skin tone and you bought that thinking it was going to be a good highlight shade, it ain't. But you can definitely save it with 4.1N, and the undertone of the concealer is actually not bad at all. And just be careful, because now I know the concealer actually oxidizes. So yeah, it does dry down darker than what it looks like, which isn't bad. It isn't bad at all, actually. Depends on whether or not you think that's a good or a bad thing. In my case, it probably actually isn't, because I want it to be a slightly darker than what it looks like. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Hope you found this video useful yet again. But yeah, I will catch you in my next video. Stay blessed. Have a great morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.